The Tutor Next Door. Chapter 1. The Great Wall of China, Town. Maya Chen had exactly 3 problems in her life, and all of them lived at 42B Maple Street, right next door to her newly rented apartment at 42A. Problem 1. The walls were apparently made of tissue paper and optimistic thinking. Problem 2. Her neighbor seemed to tutor calculus at volumes typically reserved for announcing the apocalypse. Problem 3. Despite problems 1 and 2, he had the most irritatingly attractive voice she'd ever heard through a wall. "The derivative," the voice boomed through her bedroom wall at precisely 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, "is the instantaneous rate of change." Maya pulled her pillow over her head. She'd moved to this neighborhood specifically for its advertised, peaceful, quiet ambiance. The landlord, Mr. Patterson, had used those exact words while conveniently forgetting to mention that her neighbor was apparently training teenagers to do mathematics in space, where sound didn't travel, so you really had to project. "It's not that hard, Jason. You've got this." Maya appreciated his enthusiasm. She really did, in theory. But she was trying to finish her manuscript for her editor, and her romance novel's hero definitely wasn't supposed to sound like he was teaching integrals while Maya typed his smoldering dialogue. She grabbed her phone and texted her best friend, Priya. "The wall screamer strikes again. Send help, or earplugs, or a new apartment." Priya's response came immediately. "Is he still hot, though?" "I haven't seen him, just heard him." "So he could be hot?" "He could also be a 90-year-old retired football coach." "Only one way to find out." Maya knew that tone, even in text form. Priya was scheming, and that never ended well for Maya's blood pressure. She sighed and returned to her laptop, determined to focus. Her protagonist, Dante, was supposed to be confessing his love to Isabel under a starlit sky. "Isabel," Dante said, at a volume that could be heard from the International Space Station, "the derivative of my love for you is infinite." She groaned and deleted it. Chapter 2. The Meet-Cute Disaster. Maya's first actual glimpse of her neighbor came 3 days later when she was hauling groceries up the stairs, having made the rookie mistake of thinking she could carry all 12 bags in one trip because she was, as she liked to tell herself, efficient and capable. She was neither of those things. Halfway up the stairs, the bag containing the eggs started its descent toward freedom. Maya lunged for it, overcorrected, and began a slow-motion tumble backward that would have been graceful if grace were measured in flailing limbs and creative cursing. Strong hands caught her shoulders. "Whoa, I got you." Maya found herself staring up into the face of a man who had absolutely no business looking like that while she was having a personal disaster. Dark, wavy hair that looked like it had been styled by someone running their hands through it repeatedly. Warm brown eyes behind trendy glasses. A jawline that her romance novelist brain immediately cataloged as criminally sculpted. A worn college sweatshirt that somehow made him look even better. This was the wall screamer? "You okay?" he asked, his voice full of concern and notably quieter than when he was explaining mathematical concepts. Yes, fine. Great. Gravity is just really aggressive today." He laughed, and Maya felt it somewhere in her chest. Traitor body. "Let me help you with these." He grabbed half her bags before she could protest. "I'm Ethan, by the way. 42B. Maya, 42A. The wall between us is apparently made of wishes and dreams." Ethan's face went through several expressions in rapid succession. Confusion, realization, and then mortification. "Oh, God, you can hear the tutoring sessions?" "I can hear everything. I now know more about derivatives than I ever wanted to, which is to say anything. I am so sorry. I get really into it and I don't realize I'm doing the teacher voice. He ran a hand through his hair. So that's how it got like that, looking genuinely distressed. Why didn't you say something? Knock on the wall or something? I kept meaning to, but then I thought it would be awkward, and then it became more awkward because I'd waited, and then it became this whole thing in my head. They reached her door, and Ethan set down the bags. What do you do? Please tell me you're not a night shift worker I've been keeping awake. Romance novelist. Oh, his eyes lit up with interest. So you need quiet for writing? Ideally, yes. Although I have to admit, the derivative is the instantaneous rate of change is probably the least romantic thing anyone's ever shouted while I was trying to write a love scene. Ethan turned a shade of red that Maya found unreasonably endearing. I shouted that during a love scene? During several, actually. My hero is becoming concerningly interested in calculus. I really am sorry. I'll keep it down, I promise. He paused, then grinned, a lopsided thing that Maya's stomach do something it had no business doing. Although, if you ever need mathematical accuracy in your love scenes, I'm your guy. Nothing says romance like correctly calculated trajectories. Maya laughed despite herself. I'll keep that in mind if I ever write a romance about two calculus teachers. That sounds terrible. I'd read it. Chapter 3. The Quiet Game. For the next week, the tutoring sessions were notably quieter. Maya should have been thrilled. She could finally write without mathematical interruptions. Her characters could confess their love at reasonable volumes. Instead, she found herself straining to hear what was happening next door. This was ridiculous. She'd gotten exactly what she wanted. Ethan was being considerate, keeping his voice down, not disturbing her work. She should be celebrating. Instead, she was staring at her laptop, where she'd somehow written a scene featuring a kind-hearted tutor with glasses and messy hair who absolutely, definitely, was not based on anyone in particular. Her phone buzzed. Priya, lunch tomorrow? You can tell me about the wall screamer. Nothing to tell. He's being quiet now. And? And what? Is he hot? You've seen him by now. Maya hesitated, then typed, catastrophically. Maya Chen. What? You like him? I don't even know him. He helped me with groceries once. And he's catastrophically hot, and you can't stop thinking about him. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Maya set down her phone, annoyed that Priya could read her so accurately via text message. She did not have a crush on her neighbor. That would be impractical, potentially awkward, and exactly the kind of thing that happened in the books she wrote, not in real life. Through the wall, she heard Ethan's voice, quiet but audible. You're really getting this, Sarah. I'm proud of you. Maya smiled despite herself. She could hear the genuine warmth in his voice, the way he encouraged his students. It was sweet. This was bad. This was very bad. Chapter 4. The Intervention. You're being an idiot, Priya announced over lunch, because she'd never been one for subtle interventions. Thank you. Very helpful. You like him. He probably likes you. Based on what evidence? Based on the evidence that he immediately apologized and changed his behavior when he found out it was bothering you. That's boyfriend material right there. Maya stabbed at her salad. Or just basic human decency material. Ask him out. Absolutely not. Why not? Because we're neighbors. If it goes badly, I have to move. Again. Do you know how much I hate moving? So don't let it go badly. Oh, brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? Priya leaned back, studying her. You're scared. I'm practical. You're scared, Priya repeated. Which I get. After Brandon. We're not talking about Brandon. Okay, but at some point you're going to have to take a risk again. And from everything you've told me, Ethan sounds nothing like Brandon. Maya knew Priya was right. Her ex, Brandon, had been charming right up until he wasn't. Supportive right up until her book deal came through, and suddenly he felt threatened by her success. She'd spent 2 years in that relationship, making herself smaller, quieter, less ambitious. I just want to focus on my writing, Maya said finally. You can do both. Humans are actually capable of having careers and relationships. Evolutionary biologists confirmed it and everything. Did they? Probably. I'm not a biologist. Priya reached across the table and squeezed Maya's hand. I just want you to be happy, and I haven't heard you laugh as much as you did when describing Ethan's love scene calculus advice. Maya knew Priya was right. Damn her. Chapter 5. The Blackout. The power went out on a Thursday evening during an unseasonable storm. Maya was mid-sentence. Dante was finally about to kiss Isabel when her laptop screen went dark. No, no, no! She frantically checked her battery. Dead. When was the last time she'd saved? Through the wall, she heard a muffled curse. At least she wasn't the only one affected. Maya stumbled for her phone, using its light to navigate to her junk drawer where she definitely, maybe, hopefully, had candles. She found one, a pumpkin spice monstrosity from last fall that she'd never lit, and was searching for matches when someone knocked. Ethan stood in her doorway, illuminated by his phone's flashlight, holding 2 cups. I made tea before the power went out. Figured you might want some. It's going to get cold. That's really nice. Thank you. Maya accepted the cup, and their fingers brushed. She definitely didn't notice how warm his hands were. Definitely not. Can I come in? I promise this isn't a weird neighbor thing. It's just really quiet and dark over there, and I thought... Yes, Maya said, perhaps too quickly. I mean, sure, company would be good. I was about to light this candle that smells like fall threw up, so you've been warned. Ethan laughed and followed her inside. Maya lit the candle, and the small space filled with aggressive pumpkin spice. Wow, Ethan said, coughing slightly. That's potent. I know, it's terrible, but it's light. They settled on Maya's couch, a comfortable silence between them broken only by the rain against the windows. Can I ask you something? Ethan said. What made you want to write romance novels? Maya sipped her tea, considering. Most people asked that question with a hint of judgment, like romance was frivolous. Ethan sounded genuinely curious. I like happy endings, she said finally. The world can be pretty terrible sometimes. Jobs are stressful, relationships are complicated, and don't even get me started on health insurance. But in a romance novel, you know that no matter what happens, no matter how bad things get, the characters will end up happy, together. That certainty, that promise, means something to people. Ethan nodded slowly. I get that. It's like math, in a way. I'm sorry, what? He grinned. Bear with me. Math has rules, right? Constants, things you can rely on. 2 + 2 is always 4. The Pythagorean theorem always works. There's comfort in that certainty. Did you just compare my romance novels to the Pythagorean theorem? I did. I regret nothing. Maya laughed, and something warm settled in her chest. So why tutoring? You're clearly passionate about it. Ethan's expression softened. I taught high school math for 5 years. Loved it. But I had a student, Marcus, really bright kid, just struggling. The school system couldn't give him the individual attention he needed. I started tutoring him after school, and he went from nearly failing to getting a B+. The look on his face when he got that grade? Ethan shook his head. That's when I realized I could make more impact one-on-one, so I quit teaching and started tutoring full-time. That's really admirable, Maya said, meaning it. Yeah, well, it doesn't pay as well, hence the thin walls and neighbors who have to hear me yell about derivatives. The walls do seem personally offended by the concept of privacy, right? I swear I can hear you typing sometimes. Oh, God, I type so loudly. I'm sorry, it's this aggressive writing style I have? No, it's actually kind of nice. It's this steady rhythm, like rain but more violent. Occasionally, I hear you laugh at something you've written, and it makes me smile. Their eyes met in the candlelight. Maya's heart was doing something complicated and unauthorized in her chest. Maya, Ethan started, then stopped. I probably shouldn't. We're neighbors, and that could be complicated. Very complicated, Maya agreed, not moving. But I really want to kiss you right now. That would be extremely impractical. Terrible idea. The worst. Neither of them moved apart. So, we're not going to? Ethan began. Maya kissed him. It was soft, tentative, tasting of tea and possibility. Ethan made a small, surprised sound, then cupped her face with one hand, deepening the kiss. Maya felt it everywhere, a warmth that had nothing to do with the pumpkin spice candle and everything to do with the way Ethan kissed like she was something precious and exciting all at once. When they pulled apart, Ethan was grinning. Well, that was impractical? I was going to say perfect, but sure, let's go with impractical. Chapter 6, The Morning After. The Power Returns. Maya woke up to her laptop beeping its low battery warning, which meant the power was back. She also woke up with her head on Ethan's shoulder, both of them having fallen asleep on her couch during their conversation about everything from favorite books to most embarrassing teaching moments. Ethan stirred, blinking awake. His glasses were askew. Maya wanted to photograph him and also possibly kiss him again. "Morning," he mumbled. This is probably weird, right? I fell asleep on your couch." "We fell asleep. It's a joint couch sleeping situation." He smiled, adjusting his glasses. "For the record, this is the best blackout I've ever experienced." "Same, although the bar was pretty low. The last blackout I experienced, I was stuck in an elevator with my ex." Yikes. He spent the entire time talking about his podcast. Double yikes. They disentangled themselves, and Maya felt the cold air replace where Ethan's warmth had been. He stood, running a hand through his hair, that signature move that did things to Maya's concentration. "So," Ethan said, "we should probably talk about this. The kissing, the sleeping, the general neighbor situation. We probably should. I like you, Maya, more than I've liked anyone in a long time. But you were right, this could be complicated. If things don't work out, one of us has to move, and I just bought that pumpkin spice candle. I'm committed to this apartment now." Ethan laughed. "Okay, so here's my proposal. We take this slow, get to know each other. Proper dates, not just blackout makeouts. It was one kiss. And we promise that no matter what happens, we stay friendly, because I'd rather have you as a friend than not have you in my life at all." Maya's romance novelist brain was screaming that this was it. This was the moment. This was the speech that the love interest gave right before everything went perfectly. Her practical brain was reminding her about Brandon, about moving, about how complicated neighbors dating could be. "Okay," she said. "Slow dates. Friends first." "Yeah?" "Yeah." Ethan's smile could have powered the entire building. "Can I take you to dinner? Tomorrow?" "I'd like that." After Ethan left, Maya opened her laptop and stared at the scene she'd been writing before the blackout. Dante and Isabel finally about to kiss. She read back through what she'd written, then started typing. Isabel looked up at Dante, her heart pounding. This was impractical. This was complicated. This was everything she'd been afraid of since her last relationship ended. But Dante was looking at her like she was the answer to a question he'd been asking his whole life. "This might not work," Isabel whispered. "It might not," Dante agreed. "But I'd rather try and fail than never know." Maya saved the document and smiled. Chapter 7. The Worst, Best Date. Their first date was a disaster in the best possible way. The restaurant Ethan had chosen was closed due to a burst pipe. The backup restaurant had lost their reservation. They ended up at a pizza place that was hosting what appeared to be a children's birthday party featuring a very aggressive magician. "I swear I can plan better than this," Ethan said, practically shouting over the sound of 20 children screaming as the magician pulled a rabbit from a hat. "This is amazing," Maya said, meaning it. "I couldn't have planned a more entertainingly chaotic date if I tried." A balloon animal sailed past their table. "My last date," Maya continued, "was at a very fancy French restaurant where my ex spent the entire time correcting my pronunciation. This is significantly better." "Your ex sounds like he was a pretentious jackass?" "Yeah, I have a type, apparently. Had a type. Working on it." The magician, seemingly having lost control of the party, was now being chased by a child wielding a foam sword. Ethan reached across the table and took Maya's hand. "For the record, I think your pronunciation is perfect." "You don't even know what I was trying to pronounce." "Doesn't matter. Still perfect." They ended up taking their pizza to go and walking to a nearby park, eating straight from the box on a bench while watching the sunset. "Can I tell you something embarrassing?" Ethan said. "Please." "I've read your books." Maya nearly dropped her pizza. "You what?" "After you told me you were a romance novelist, I looked you up. You write under MC Chen, right? I read Love in Translation and The Heart's Algorithm." "Oh, God." Maya covered her face. "Those are so cheesy." "They're wonderful. They're funny and sweet." He stopped, turning red. "That came out wrong." "No, it came out right. They are sexy. That's kind of the point." Maya peeked at him through her fingers. "What did you think? Honestly." "Honestly? I loved them. The one about the translator? I laughed, I cried a little, don't tell anyone, and I believed in them. The characters, the love story, all of it." He paused. "Although your math was slightly off in the Heart's algorithm." "I knew it. I knew that equation seemed wrong, but my editor said no one would notice." "I noticed, but only because I'm a huge nerd." "You're a huge nerd who read my books. That's actually really sweet." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the sky turn pink and gold. "Can I ask you something?" Maya said. "Why did you really quit teaching? The Marcus story is lovely, but there's something else there." Ethan was quiet for a moment. "My ex-wife, she wanted me to do something more prestigious. Teaching didn't fit her vision of our life together. Private tutoring definitely didn't. She gave me an ultimatum, her vision or the marriage." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. It showed me who she was. More importantly, it showed me who I was. I chose the tutoring. She chose someone with a better job title." He smiled, but it was sad around the edges. "We finalized the divorce 6 months ago." "I'm still sorry. That must have been hard." "It was, but it also taught me that I need someone who loves what I do, not what they wish I did." He looked at Maya. "Someone who understands that passion and success aren't always measured in dollar signs." "That," Maya said, "is either very profound or we're both just trying to justify our impractical career choices." "Why not both?" They kissed again, there on the park bench with pizza grease on their fingers and the sunset painting everything gold. It was imperfect and perfect all at once. Chapter 8. The Writing Process, with Commentary. Over the next few weeks, Maya and Ethan fell into a routine. He'd tutor in the afternoons, at reasonable volumes now, though occasionally he'd forget and Maya would hear the quadratic formula echo through the walls. She'd write in the mornings and evenings, and they'd have dinner together most nights, either at one apartment or the other. One evening, Ethan knocked on her door holding a bag of Thai food. "I brought sustenance for the artist." "You're my favorite person." "I'm also curious. Can I watch you write? Is that weird?" "That's probably weird." Maya considered. She'd never let anyone watch her write before. It felt intimate, vulnerable. But this was Ethan, who'd read her books and loved them, math mistakes and all. "Okay," she said, "but you have to be quiet, and you can't judge me. Deal?" They settled on the couch, Maya with her laptop, Ethan with a calculus textbook he was using to plan lessons. For a while, the only sounds were Maya's aggressive typing and the occasional page turn. Then Maya started laughing. "What?" Ethan asked. "Nothing, just my character just said something ridiculous." "Can I hear it?" Maya cleared her throat and read. Marcus grabbed Jennifer's hand. "I know this is crazy," he said, "but I've calculated the probability of us meeting, of feeling this way, and it's infinitesimal." "Which means this, us. It's basically a mathematical miracle." Ethan stared at her. "That's actually really romantic? You think?" "Yeah, it's nerdy and romantic." "Neuromantic? Rodantic?" "Please never say either of those words again." "Noted." He paused. "Is Marcus the hero?" "Yeah." "Like Marcus, my former student Marcus?" "What? No, it's a common name. Pure coincidence." Ethan was grinning. "Uh-huh. Stop looking at me like that." "Like what?" "Like you know something." "I know that your hero has messy hair, wears glasses, and is a tutor." Maya felt her face heat. "That's also coincidence." "Maya Chen, did you write me into your book?" "I write everyone into my books. My mailman is in chapter 7. It doesn't mean anything." But they both knew she was lying. Ethan set aside his textbook and moved closer. "For the record, I'm incredibly flattered. What happens to Marcus?" "Spoilers. I'm invested now." "He gets the girl. Obviously, it's a romance novel. Obviously." Ethan kissed her, soft and sweet. "Does he also get to kiss the author?" "That's not in the manuscript." Consider it a deleted scene. Chapter 9. The Fight. It happened on a Tuesday, which was fitting because nothing good ever happened on Tuesdays. Maya's editor had called with notes on her manuscript, big notes, structural changes that would require basically rewriting the entire last third of the book. Her deadline was in 3 weeks. She was stressed, overwhelmed, and when Ethan came over that evening with dinner, she snapped. "I can't tonight. I have work." "You have to eat," Ethan said reasonably. "I'll grab something later." "Maya, I said I can't, okay? Not everyone has a flexible schedule like tutoring. Some of us have actual deadlines." The words were out before she could stop them. Ethan's expression shuddered. "Right, your actual deadlines, as opposed to my fake job that doesn't matter." "That's not what I meant." "It sounded pretty clear to me." He set down the food. "You know what? You're stressed. I get it. But don't take it out on me. And definitely don't diminish what I do because you're having a bad day." "I wasn't." "Yeah, you were. It's what your ex did, isn't it? Made you feel like your writing wasn't a real job? I'm not him, Maya. Don't treat me like I am." He left before Maya could respond. She stared at the closed door, her heart sinking. He was right. She'd been stressed and scared, and she'd lashed out at the one person who'd been nothing but supportive. She'd become exactly what she'd hated in Brandon. Chapter 10. The Grand Gesture, Mathematically Speaking. Maya spent 2 days rewriting her manuscript and hating herself. Through the wall, she could hear Ethan's tutoring sessions, quieter than ever, like he was being careful not to disturb her even now. On the 3rd day, Priya showed up unannounced. "You look terrible," she announced. "Thanks, really hopeful." "Have you apologized yet?" "I tried texting. He responded with okay and nothing else, the okay of death." "Then apologize better. Grand gesture. You write romance novels. You know how this works." "That's fiction, Priya. So make it reality. What would your character do?" Maya thought about it. In her books, the grand gesture was always personal, always specific to what the love interest needed to hear. What did Ethan need? To be seen, to be valued, to know that his passion wasn't less important just because it didn't come with a corporate title or a huge salary. She had an idea. It was possibly stupid, Probably mortifying. Definitely the kind of thing that would either work perfectly or end in disaster. I need your help, Maya told Priya, and possibly some poster board. 3 hours later, Maya stood outside Ethan's door, holding a poster board and questioning every decision that had led to this moment. She knocked. Ethan opened the door, surprise flickering across his face. Maya? She held up the poster board. I'm sorry. I was stressed and scared and I said something stupid. Your job isn't fake. Your passion is real and important and changes lives. I know this because you changed mine. P.S. I'm bad at math, but I calculated that there's a 100% chance I'm falling in love with you, assuming I haven't already messed everything up. Please check my work. Ethan stared at the poster, then at her. Did you just apologize with a math problem? I also brought actual words, if you want to hear them. He stepped aside, and Maya entered his apartment for the first time. It was exactly as she'd imagined. Bookshelves full of math texts and science fiction, a desk covered in lesson plans, photos on the walls of what looked like former students at graduations. I'm sorry, Maya said, setting down the poster. What I said was cruel and dismissive and exactly the kind of thing Brandon used to say to me. You were right. I was treating you like him, and you're nothing like him. You're kind and passionate, and you care so much about your students and your work. And that's not less important than what I do. It's more important. You're literally changing kids' lives while I'm just writing stories about... Stop. Ethan crossed to her, taking her hands. Your stories matter too. They bring people joy. They give them hope. Don't diminish your work while apologizing for diminishing mine. Deal. We both have important jobs that we're passionate about. Deal. I really am sorry. I know. And I'm sorry too. I could have been more understanding about your deadline stress. You brought me dinner. You were plenty understanding. I was just... Maya took a breath. I'm scared, Ethan. Of this. Of us. Of how much I like you. My last relationship ended so badly, and I'm terrified of making the same mistakes. You're not, Ethan said firmly. You're nothing like him, and I'm nothing like her. We're us. That's different. Is it though? We still have the same careers, the same pressures, but we respect each other, support each other. That makes all the difference. He pulled her closer. Also, you made me a math-themed apology poster. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever done for me. Really? That's kinda sad. Shut up and let me have this moment. Maya laughed, and Ethan kissed her, and everything felt like it might actually be okay. Chapter 11. The Deadline. 2 weeks later, Maya was on page 387 of her manuscript with 3 days until her deadline and approximately 15 panic attacks per hour. Ethan had become her support system, bringing her food at regular intervals, forcing her to take breaks, and providing what he called motivational mathematics. Fun fact, he said, appearing with coffee at midnight, you've written about 2,000 words per day for the last week. At that rate, you'll finish with a day to spare. But what if I don't? What if my math is wrong? My math is never wrong. Drink your coffee. Maya complied, then went back to typing. Through her exhausted haze, she was aware of Ethan settling on her couch with a book, just being there. Quiet support. No demands, no complaints about her unavailability. At 3 a.m., she typed, "The end," and immediately burst into tears. Hey, Ethan was there, wrapping his arms around her. You did it. It's done. It's terrible. It's garbage. My editor is going to hate it. It's not. You're exhausted and stressed. Get some sleep, read it fresh tomorrow, and then decide. You haven't even read it. I've read everything else you've written. It's going to be brilliant. Maya let herself lean into him, breathing in his familiar scent, coffee and some cologne that she'd become possibly addicted to. Thank you, she whispered, for being here, for the coffee and the math and the everything. Always. He kissed the top of her head. Come on, bed, sleep. The manuscript can wait until morning. Will you stay? Yeah, I'll stay. Chapter 12. The Publication and Other Happy Endings. 3 months later, Maya's book released to positive reviews and decent sales. Her editor loved the revisions, her readers loved the story. And Marcus, the fictional one, became a surprising fan favorite. This is the nerdiest romance hero I've ever read, and I love him, one review said. Finally, a male lead who isn't a billionaire or a duke. Give me more of these normal guy with a passion romances. Maya showed the reviews to Ethan over dinner at their favorite pizza place, the one with the aggressive magician, who had apparently been banned after the foam sword incident. You're basically famous, Ethan said, grinning. People love Marcus. People love you. Marcus is just the fictional version. I'm choosing to be flattered rather than concerned about the fact that millions of people are reading a sex scene that's apparently based on me. Thousands, not millions yet. Yet, so ambitious. They'd been officially together for 4 months now, and Maya couldn't remember what her life had been like before Ethan, before the bad jokes and the math facts and the way he looked at her like she was something precious. I have something for you, Ethan said, pulling out a small wrapped package. It's not my birthday. It's a book birthday present for Love Calculus. Maya unwrapped it to find a custom nameplate. Maya Chen, best-selling author with mathematically accurate love scenes. She laughed until she cried. This is perfect. I love it. I love... She stopped, the words catching in her throat. Ethan went very still. You love? You. I love you. Is that... We haven't said that yet, and maybe it's too soon, but I do. I love you. Thank God. Ethan pulled her close. I love you, too. I've been wanting to say it for weeks, but I was trying to do the whole taking it slow thing we agreed on. I think we can stop taking it slow now. Yeah? Yeah. They kissed across the table, and Maya felt something settle in her chest. This was it. This was the feeling she'd been trying to capture in all her books. The certainty, the rightness, the sense of coming home. Epilogue. 1 year later. Maya was typing furiously, racing toward the climax of her new book, when she heard through the wall, "The derivative is the instantaneous rate of change." She smiled. Some things never changed. Ethan still occasionally forgot to use his inside voice when tutoring. The walls were still made of optimistic thinking. Her typing was still aggressive enough to constitute a noise violation. But now, instead of being annoyed, Maya found it comforting. The sound of Ethan doing what he loved, just on the other side of that thin wall. Except he wasn't on the other side anymore. He was right here, in her apartment, because he'd moved in 2 months ago after they both admitted that spending nights apart was stupid when they were literally 10 feet away from each other anyway. The tutoring session ended, and Ethan appeared in the doorway of her office. How's the writing going? Good. Almost done with this chapter. How's calculus? Still instantaneous. Also, Jason got into MIT. The Jason? It's not that hard, Jason? The very same. I got the email an hour ago. I may have cried a little. Maya stood and hugged him. You should cry. You helped him get there. We both helped him. You were the one who proofread his application essay. Team effort. Speaking of teams, Ethan said, pulling back slightly but keeping his arms around her, I have a question. Should I be worried? Depends. How do you feel about marriage? Maya's heart stopped. I'm asking theoretically, for now, but I was thinking about probability and statistics, and, oh God, this is going to be a math proposal, isn't it? And I calculated that based on our compatibility, shared values, and the fact that I love you more than I thought it was possible to love another human being, the probability of a successful marriage between us is approximately, Ethan. 97%, accounting for the standard deviation of Ethan. He stopped, grinning nervously. Yeah? Ask me. For real, not theoretically. He pulled a small box from his pocket. Later, Maya would learn he'd been carrying it for a week, waiting for the right moment. Apparently, right now, with her in sweatpants and him in his teaching clothes, was the right moment. Maya Chen, will you marry me? I promise to keep my tutoring voice down, to always bring you coffee during deadline crunches, and to love you, at a reasonable volume, for the rest of our lives. Yes, Maya said, laughing and crying at the same time. Yes, but only if you promise to sometimes forget and yell about derivatives through the walls. It's become oddly endearing. Deal. He kissed her. And through the thin walls, Maya heard their neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, the landlord's mother, shout, "Finally! We've all been waiting." They broke apart, laughing. Well, Ethan said, at least we know the walls are definitely still too thin. Perfect for eavesdropping neighbors. And for hearing you laugh while you write. And for knowing you're right there, even when we're in different rooms. Maya leaned her forehead against his. That was almost romantic enough to go in one of my books. Only almost. Well, you didn't actually calculate the probability. You just said approximately 97%. I'm going to need to see your work. I'll show you my work if you show me how this book ends. Deal. But spoiler alert, everyone gets a happy ending. Obviously, Ethan said, kissing her again. It's a romance novel. And in Maya's professional opinion, it was the best kind of romance. The kind that started with thin walls and loud neighbors and evolved into love that was anything but quiet.